Hello, everyone. It's been a while. I'd like to welcome you to my new podcast, Sleep Friendly Current Events. The world is crazy right now, but learning English doesn't have to be stressful. What if staying updated on current events could actually improve your sleep and English all at the same time? This is what I'm aiming for in this podcast. A lot of you like my Learn English While Sleeping videos. I'd never show my face on those videos because I thought it wasn't important because nobody really needs to look at the screen when they're sleeping. But with AI taking over, a lot of people think my voice is AI generated, and I'm here to prove that it's actually my voice. I'm here, I'm a real human being. With this podcast, I'm going to pick a current event that I find interesting in the news, and we're going to go over it together. I'm going to try to keep my demeanor and voice calm, relaxing, so you can watch it before bed, not get overstimulated. So a lot of the current events today are very stressful to listen to, so this podcast is going to help you learn about current events, help you improve your English, but not overstimulate you. So, for today's podcast, I have chosen an interesting topic. So, without further ado, why don't we jump into today's topic? Welcome to Advanced English Podcast, Sleep Friendly Current Events. Please go to breezeenglishstudio.com. You can scan the QR code on the screen and you'll be able to find my blog there. I will create a whole blog for today's podcast, so you can go over there, check it out. You can catch up on all the vocabulary we learned today, and I will link the original article in that blog. Today the title is Preservationists Sue Over Trump's Latest Plans to refashion a federal building to match his aesthetic. So let's break down this title a little bit. Let me just put my glasses on so I can actually see the screen. One more time. Preservationists sue over Trump's latest plans to refashion a federal building to match his aesthetic. What does that mean? Let's look at the vocabulary. The first word, preservationists. The word preserve means to protect something, to save something. So a preservationist is a person. Here it's plural, preservationists. Preservationists are people who want to protect old or historic buildings from being changed or damaged. Okay? Then we have the word sue. Preservationists sue. So when you sue someone, you believe they did something wrong or illegal. So to sue someone means to take someone to court because you believe they did something wrong or illegal. So to refashion means to change or redesign something, usually to make it look different or new. Federal building, federal building. So a federal building is a building owned by the US government. Okay? And aesthetic, aesthetic. A person's style or sense of what looks good. Okay, so once we know all of these vocabulary, simply put, this title means a group that wants to protect historic buildings. So those are the preservationists. A group that wants to protect historic buildings is taking legal action because Trump wants to redesign. He wants to refashion a government building to match his personal style, his aesthetic. And here is a picture of the building in question. This is what we're talking about. The Eisenhower Executive Office Building, okay, located in Washington, D.C. This is a picture of the building as it is right now. I'm going to put pieces of the article at the top in yellow. Underneath it, I'm going to put vocabulary that you should know. Okay, let's read it piece by piece. Historic preservationists sued President Donald Trump over his plans to paint an ornate office building housing his staff next to the White House, warning the structure could be irreversibly damaged. So let's pick out some of the vocabulary. Ornate. Ornate. Ornate means very detailed, decorative, or fancy in design. So they are saying the ornate office building. So the Eisenhower Executive Office Building is ornate. It's very detailed, maybe beautifully designed. And then we have the word structure. Structure. In this case, a structure is a building. We're talking about the Eisenhower Executive Office Building is a structure. Irreversibly. This word will come up a few times in this article. Irreversibly means in a way that cannot be undone. Permanently. To permanently do something. So if Donald Trump paints the structure, it could be permanently, irreversibly damaged. Continuing on, the suit filed Friday by the D.C. Preservation League and Cultural Heritage Partners asks the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia to stop Trump and federal officials from making any changes to the Eisenhower Executive Office Building unless they go through a standard review process. To file a suit means to officially start a legal case in court. Okay, so these are the groups. The DC Preservation League, that's the name of one group, and the Cultural Heritage Partners is another group. Okay? They officially started a legal case against Donald Trump. The U.S. District Court, that is a place, it is a federal court where legal cases are heard. The next one is pretty important. If you are interested in America, the District of Columbia, that is the capital city of the United States. You probably hear Washington, D.C. D.C. is the District of Columbia. Okay? Trump told Fox News' Laura Ingraham in an interview last week that he was putting the wheels in motion, to paint the EEOB, the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, a sprawling Gilded Age structure next door to the White House, a bright white. Okay, to put the wheels in motion. Put the wheels in motion. This means to start a plan, to begin taking steps toward doing something. Okay, so he's taking steps to start painting the building. Sprawling, sprawling. If something is sprawling, it's very large and spread out. Gilded Age. Gilded Age is a period in U.S. history. Think the late 1800s, and it's known for wealth and very decorative, fancy architecture. The Gilded Age structure means the Eisenhower Executive Office building is very decorative, very fancy. It was built a long time ago in a very fancy way. Now, this is a quote from Donald Trump. "Gray is for funerals," he said, referring to the building's granite exterior, noting that he didn't know whether he would go through with it, but that he was getting costs and bids from painters. "We'll see. It'd be a great addition to Washington," he added. Okay, when we refer to something, in this case, referring to the building's exterior, it means we're talking about something. We're mentioning that. So he's talking about the exterior. Okay. Next one, we have granite exterior. Okay. The exterior is the outside. Granite is a type of stone. So granite exterior, the outside of the building made of granite, which is a hard gray stone. Next we have go through with it. Go through with it. To go through with something. When you go through with something, it means you actually do something you planned. So even if it's difficult or uncertain, to go through with it, it means you actually did it. So he said he didn't know whether he would go through with it or not. So he's not sure if he will actually do it. We'll see. We'll see is just another way of saying I'm not sure yet, or maybe, but I haven't decided. Next, Trump's plans to paint the building signaled yet another effort to stamp his aesthetic tastes on structures on federal grounds. As part of those efforts, Trump has paved over the White House Rose Garden to create a Mar-a-Lago-esque patio, demolished the East Wing to create a massive ballroom, and ordered the golden pillars of the Kennedy Center painted white. He has also touted plans to install a triumphal arch to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States founding. Okay, so a lot of new vocabulary here, I think. Signaled. Trump's plans to paint the building signaled. Signaled means to show or indicate something. Yet another means one more in a series. This has happened before. Okay? And then stamp his aesthetic tastes. This means to force his personal style or design preferences onto something. So Trump's plans to paint the building signaled yet another effort to stamp his aesthetic tastes on structures on federal grounds. So it means this showed, his plan is showing that this has happened before. He's doing it again. He's forcing his personal style on the White House and surrounding buildings. We have paved over. Paved over means you cover the ground with concrete or pavement. So he has paved over the White House Rose Garden, which was a very famous rose garden. And then we have the Mar-a-Lago-esque. So something esque means it's similar in style to something. So Mar-a-Lago-esque means similar in style to Trump's resort, Mar-a-Lago. In other words, fancy or in a Florida style, his style. Demolished is another key word here. Demolish means to destroy or knock down something. Okay, so he paved over the rose garden to make a Mar-a-Lago-esque patio. This word here, patio, in American English, this T is going to become a flap T. We're going to pronounce it similar to a D sound. Patio, patio. And he demolished, destroyed the east wing to create a massive ballroom. Okay? Then we have the word touted. Touted. Touted means promoted, or you talked about something like it was a good idea. Triumphal arch. Triumphal arch. This is a large, decorative, historic style arch built to celebrate a victory or important event. In this case, the 250th anniversary of the United States' founding. Next we have commemorate. Commemorate. To commemorate something means to honor or remember an important event. Let's read the next part. The suit argues the Trump administration cannot move forward with the president's plans without going through the environmental and historic preservation review that federal law requires. Going around those reviews could result in irreversible, here we have that word again, irreversible damage, permanent damage. The groups argue painting stone can trap moisture will stay there within the wall system and accelerate deterioration, the suit says. It adds that if the building was painted, removing paint from the natural granite and slate would require immense expense and potentially result in the loss of the original material. When we go around something, so going around the reviews that are required by law, that means you're avoiding or skipping something. You're going around it. Accelerate deterioration. This means make something wear out or break down faster. Okay? Accelerate means speed up. Deteriorate means wear down, break down. Regardless of who occupies the White House, our nation's historic landmarks belong to the American people, said Greg Werkheiser, founding partner of Cultural Heritage Partners. Federal law requires a careful, public, and expert review before irreversible means you can't go back, you cannot reverse, it is permanent. Irreversible changes are made to a national historic landmark. Okay, regardless of means no matter who or what. It doesn't change the rule. It's always going to be the same. Occupies, lives in or uses a place. So no matter who is in the White House, historic landmarks. These are important buildings or sites that have historical significance. They're very important. founding partner. If you're a founding partner or a founding member, it means you are one of the main people who started an organization or company. Okay? Next, careful public and expert review. This is a thorough check done openly with professionals involved. Next, completed in 1888, the EEOB originally housed the State, War, and Navy departments, but now serves as ancillary office space for the President's staff, including the Office of the Vice President, the National Security Council, and the Office of Management and Budget. The building's interior includes 553 ornately gilded rooms, bronze stair balusters, hand-painted tiles, carved wooden fixtures, stained glass rotundas, and intricate cast iron. Ancillary means extra, supporting, or just not the main part. So ancillary office space means extra office space. Interior. We know exterior is the outside of something. Interior is the inside of the building. Ornately gilded rooms. We learned the word ornate earlier, so very fancy. So rooms decorated in a fancy way with gold accents. That would be ornately gilded. At the bottom we have bronze stair balusters. These are the vertical posts supporting a staircase railing made of bronze. Okay, so because this building was made so long ago, it is very ornately decorated, very fancy. Then we have carved wooden fixtures. These are wooden parts of the building shaped and decorated by carving. Stained glass rotundas. These are round rooms with colorful glass windows. Stained glass. You can find stained glass in churches, cathedrals. They sometimes have designs or pictures, but stained glass is colorful glass. Intricate cast iron. So intricate means very detailed. Detailed ironwork shaped for decoration. But the building's unique French Second Empire style has been controversial since its inception. It took roughly 17 years to build, and by the time it was done, the Second Empire style had fallen from favor, and architect Alfred Mullet's masterpiece was perceived by capricious Victorians as only an embarrassing reminder of past whims in architectural preference, according to the Biden White House. So, French Second Empire style, an architectural style from 19th century France, often very ornate, we learned that word, very detailed, with mansard roofs and fancy decorations. So I included an image. If you're looking at the screen, mansard types of roofs are these styles of roofs. Okay? Controversial, caused disagreement or arguments. People have strong opinions. Inception, the beginning or start of something. Roughly means about or approximately. So this type of architecture caused controversy. A lot of people had big opinions about this. Fallen from favor, it means it is no longer popular or liked. So since the building took 17 years to complete, by the time it was finished, the style had fallen from favor. It's not trendy anymore. A masterpiece, we often hear this about art. It's an artist's or architect's best and most important work. Perceived. Perceived means seen or thought of in a certain way. And capricious. Unpredictable or changing suddenly. And we have 3 more words from this. Victorians. These are the people living during Queen Victoria's reign. Whims. Sudden ideas or change in taste. And architectural preference. This means the styles or designs people like in buildings. So the capricious Victorians, the people who lived during Queen Victoria's reign, they were capricious. They changed their mind, they were unpredictable, and suddenly this architecture was not popular anymore. Guides leading tourists around the White House complex are often heard quoting from the author Mark Twain, who reportedly described it as the ugliest building in America. And President Harry Truman called it a monstrosity. So, White House complex. So this means the area around the White House, including nearby buildings like the EEOB. Quoting. Quoting means repeating someone else's words. You are saying what someone else said. Reportedly. Reportedly means according to what people say. So it's not confirmed. We're hearing it from a third party. Monstrosity. Something very ugly or huge in a way that seems unnatural. Okay? So Mark Twain reportedly, we don't know for sure, but people say that he said it's the ugliest building in America. And President Harry Truman called it a monstrosity. So not a very popular or beautiful building. All right, now that we've gone over it piece by piece, let's read the whole thing together. Listen to how I pronounce words and my intonation while reading. Notice the vocabulary that we learned today. Try to remember the meanings as we read it together. Preservationists sue over Trump's latest plans to refashion a federal building to match his aesthetic. Historic preservationists sued President Donald Trump over his plans to paint an ornate office building housing his staff next to the White House, warning the structure could be irreversibly damaged. The suit, filed Friday by the D.C. Preservation League and Cultural Heritage Partners, asks the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia to stop Trump and federal officials from making any changes to the Eisenhower Executive Office Building unless they go through a standard review process. Trump told Fox News' Laura Ingraham in an interview last week that he was putting the wheels in motion to paint the EEOB, a sprawling, Gilded Age structure next door to the White House, a bright white. Gray is for funerals, he said. referring to the building's granite exterior, noting that he didn't know whether he would go through with it, but that he was getting costs and bids from painters. "We'll see. It'd be a great addition to Washington," he added. Trump's plans to paint the building signaled yet another effort to stamp his aesthetic tastes on structures on federal grounds. As part of those efforts, Trump has paved over the White House Rose Garden to create a Mar-a-Lago-esque patio, demolished the East Wing to create a massive ballroom, and ordered the golden pillars of the Kennedy Center painted white. He has also touted plans to install a triumphal arch to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States' founding. The suit argues the Trump administration cannot move forward with the president's plans without going through the environmental and historic preservation review that federal law requires. Going around those reviews could result in irreversible damage, the groups argue. Painting stone can trap moisture within the wall system and accelerate deterioration, the suit says. It adds, if the building was painted, removing paint from the natural granite and slate would require immense expense and potentially result in the loss of the original material. Regardless of who occupies the White House, our nation's historic landmarks belong to the American people, said Greg Werkheiser, founding partner of Cultural Heritage Partners. Federal law requires a careful, public, and expert review before irreversible changes are made to a national historic landmark. Completed in 1888, the EEOB originally housed the State, War, and Navy departments, but now serves as ancillary office space for the President's staff, including the Office of the Vice President, the National Security Council, and the Office of Management and Budget. The building's interior includes 553 ornately gilded rooms, bronze stair balusters, hand-painted tiles, carved wooden fixtures, stained glass rotundas, and intricate cast iron. But the building's unique French Second Empire style has been controversial since its inception. It took roughly 17 years to build, and by the time it was done, the Second Empire style had fallen from favor, and architect Alfred Mullet's masterpiece was perceived by capricious Victorians as only an embarrassing reminder of past whims in architectural preference, according to the Biden White House. Guides leading tourists around the White House complex are often heard quoting from the author Mark Twain, who reportedly described it as the ugliest building in America. And President Harry Truman called it a monstrosity. Thank you for watching my new podcast. I'm in my new home. I'm trying something new. I don't have my regular setup, so I think I'm going to tweak the lighting and some other things, maybe a background. I have nothing, it's empty behind me now. So I'll try to fix up my room as best as I can, and I will get back to you with a brand new lesson. Please let me know what you think of this new style of lesson. Do you like it? Is it annoying? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.